Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Fishel, and welcome to bonus weather video number 2 for this week. And the topic today is going to be some interesting tidbits about the Earth and the Sun, some things that you might find surprising, if not shocking, or perhaps even unbelievable. So let's get into it here. I got a couple of examples that I want to share with you. And we're going to call this Earth and the Sun a surprising, if not shocking, relationship. Okay, so consider these facts. The Sun was 94.51 million miles away on July 4th. And when it's farthest away from the Earth, we call that aphelion. And perihelion is when the Sun is closest to the Earth, and that was 91.41 million miles on January 4th. Now, I know what you're thinking. All right, Greg, you finally lost it. Age gets to everybody. Don't feel bad. You're saying that when we're closer to the Sun, it gets colder, and when we're farther away from the Sun, it gets hotter. Come on now. Well, it turns out that this is true. That difference of 3 million miles is negligible compared to this effect. So let's take a look at a couple of examples here. First, in the summer. Let's put a little human being there. The Sun is very high in the sky. In fact, it comes within 13 degrees of being directly overhead. So the incoming radiation from the Sun is very, very direct. Whereas in the wintertime, the Sun barely gets a third of the way up the sky from the horizon to being directly overhead, and so that incoming radiation comes in at a very, very shallow angle. Now, the best analogy I can think of here is with a flashlight. Supposing you're standing up looking straight ahead, there's somebody beneath you sitting on the floor, and they're shining a flashlight at your face. But since you're looking straight ahead, you may not even notice they have a flashlight aimed at your face because the angle is coming in, or the angle that light is coming in is so shallow. However, if that person stands up and takes a flashlight at eye level and shines it right in your face, I guarantee you're going to notice what's going on there. So that 3 million mile difference between the Earth and the Sun, that distance, is negligible compared to the angle at which that incoming radiation is arriving at the Earth's surface. Now, if the distance difference was 30 million miles, that would have a big effect, obviously, but 3 million, nothing compared to this angle effect. All right, let's go to paradox number 2. Now, the longest day is on or about June 21st, and you may think that the sunrise keeps getting earlier and the sunset keeps getting later, and they max out on June 21st, and then they start coming together again at an equal rate. That is not the case. It turns out that from June 13th, which is when the earliest sunrise occurs, or thereabouts, from June 13th to the 21st, the sunrise is getting later, but the sunset is getting later at a quicker rate than the sunrise. So the days continue to lengthen until June 21st. After June 21st until about the 29th, the sunrise is getting later at a quicker rate than the sunset, so the days begin to shorten. After the 29th, the sunrise gets later, the sunset gets earlier, and they continue to converge until early December. Now, let's go to the end of the year. It turns out that the earliest sunset is about December 5th and 6th, so by Christmas time, the sunset's been getting later for 3 weeks. So from December 6th to the 21st, the sunset's getting later, but the sunrise is getting later at a quicker rate than the sunset, so the days continue to shorten until December 21st. From December 21st until the end of the first week of January, the sunset is getting later at a quicker rate than the sunrise, and so the days begin to lengthen. After January 6th and 7th, the sunset gets later, the sunrise gets earlier, and they continue to diverge until mid-June. What is the reason for these paradoxes, if you will? Well, first of all, a solar day is not 24 hours long. We human beings want to keep things simple, and we want every day to be the same length. But from a solar perspective, solar days are not 24 hours long. The other thing is that the Earth's orbit is elliptical around the Sun, and when we're closer to it in the wintertime, the Earth travels quicker around the Sun than it does during the summer when we're farther away, and that also contributes to this quote-unquote discrepancy that we notice in the sunrise and sunset time. So I hope you found that interesting. I've always found these things rather fascinating, the way that the sun and the earth interact, and some of the things that just don't make sense at first glance, but then when you check into it, it does seem to make sense later on. So again, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back with a regular weather update on Monday and another bonus weather video on Tuesday. We'll see you then.